Welcome, Knights of Apollo, to another Total War Rome 2 Siege battle. Today's battle is an absolute slugfest that comes down to the wire. The attackers are going to have quite the challenge because they're attacking a strong barbarian settlement that has powerful walls, tough terrain, and narrow choke points. But they are ready for it. They are bringing a strange but powerful alliance, which includes Galatia, who bring inexpensive but powerful units like the Galatian legionaries. Egypt, one of the powerhouse factions of Total War Rome 2. This faction is extremely versatile and powerful in every category. And finally, for the attackers, we have the Ivacy. Their army consists 70% of chosen swordsmen. They got the name Chosen for a reason. Now, for the defenders, they also bring a strange but yet powerful alliance, which includes Pixelated, who take great inspiration from Rome. Though they aren't as powerful as Rome, they should never be underestimated. Next, we have Swaby, another powerful barbarian faction that relies on light, fast-moving units that pack a punch, and they also rely on fear to crush their opponents. And last but certainly not least, we have Bactria, another powerhouse faction that takes inspiration from both West and East. So sit back, relax, get some snacks and drinks, and enjoy the siege battle. So the first faction to make the walls is going to be Ivacy, as they push up many siege towers as they attack this section of this settlement, followed by Egypt, who's going to help their push, and they also have a lot of siege towers consisting of Galatian swordsmen. So yeah, pretty cool to see the Galatians also not only in their own faction, but also Galatian mercenaries who are in the Egyptian army. Now this is going to be a very tough position to attack. It's one of the more tougher positions to attack on this settlement, and Pixelated is ready to hold it. Of course, they've got their desert legionaries ready to oh my god, we caught the very end of that, but the Pila just destroying. Look at it, it's like porcupines. Oh my god, look at this, oh my god, look at that. That is insane. So they take a huge just wave of Pila, but the barbarians from Ivacy keep pushing on, and they are taking on these desert legionaries. It's going to be quite the difficult challenge into this at the beginning of this battle, because not only did they take a huge volley of Pila, they're taking on this arrow tower, and now they've got to take on these elite legionaries who are going to be tough to take on. Now, of course, Egypt is also pushing in as well. They've got a lot of their Galatian swords now pushing and trying to basically double team the Pixelated. And that's not necessarily a bad thing for Pixelated. If he can bring down a ton of these Egyptian forces and Ivacy forces, then he's going to really help out his teammates who can, like, you know, they can focus down one faction. So there we go. Now we can start to see some Swaby forces who are actually sending over some Bloodsworn to help out his Pixelated ally. He's helping out Pixelated by sending over some Bloodsworn. Nice little flanking charge by the Galatian swordsmen. Egypt really going heavy with the Galatian soldiers here. Love it. And then, of course, Bactria is in the back here. Get it? Bactria is in the back. Anyways, with Scale, Thorax, Hoplites sitting in reserve, and Swaby is going to pretty much 100% minus this one unit that's coming over the support, is going to defend against Galatia. And they're definitely have a bend but don't break defensive mentality, kind of letting Galatia take some of the walls here, and now they're going to charge in their Bloodsworn. So the Bloodsworn pushing to the fight. We have some Club Levy going in. Hell yeah, Club Levy going in for the flank. Nice little maneuver there with a really cheap unit. Yes, they're not the greatest of warriors, but if you put them on the flank, they're going to do some pretty great damage. And then over on this side, just waiting for more Galatian troops to make their way to this wall. And now we have the archers, the longbow hunters of Swaby, opening fire on Galatia, trying to soften up their numbers before they approach the wall and help their infantry Now back over here, Egypt has made a little bit of a push, and again, that bend but don't break defensive mentality, letting him take this section of the wall. That's okay. He can't maneuver this way because of these buildings, and they're going to kind of block it off here with these 2 units. So very cool to see that. Pixelated is doing a great job over here holding against these Galatian warriors. So they're holding the fight against these boys over here. Same thing on this side. They've got the 2 units of legionaries holding against the infantry here. And then now we have more infantry going in for a charge. Look at that. Pixelated is not letting him take the walls. He's not going to let... He'll let him take a little bit, but he's not going to let him push much further away from the walls or into the, into the settlement. And they are taking on some heavy, heavy archer fire from Ivacy. And they're falling back. Look at that. Look at that little fall back there. Now they're going to... I think he's trying to get him in range of his tribesman here, which is a skirmishing unit. And that was a good little tactic there, letting their flank open to attack, and Pixelated is going to be able to take this one. Again, they're still getting hit hard by archers, but look at this. Pixelated is doing an excellent job of holding this front line, and Ivacy is definitely having a bit of a speed bump here in terms of their attack. They got to send up more troops to this fight, or Pixelated is going to easily take it. Whatever happens here, Pixelated has definitely made the attackers bleed. Egypt starting to break as well over here. Let's go over to this side and see. Okay, Bactria is now finally getting their men into this fight, where they've got a lot of hoplites holding against the Egyptians, who are now pushing on this flank of the wall as well. I'm glad to see that Egypt is sending over some troops over to this side. It is good to see that. You can see he's got a lot of reserves waiting over here too. What do we got? Thorax swords? Yes, we do. 3 units of thorax swords. Actually, 2 units and a unit of thorough spears. But yeah, they're kind of just waiting. This is a good position. They're definitely a weak position in this defense. And look at this flanking maneuver. Bactria just kind of lets in Egypt, and they're going to be able to flank around Swaby. And that is not a good sign for Swaby, who is a very light, very fast-moving faction. They don't do well with being outflanked, and that's certainly what you don't want to see if you're rooting for the defenders. But here comes Bactria. They're going to come in and try to quickly support, but seems like it's just, the damage has been done. They got to deal with this Egyptian unit. Send something to counterflank it. But over here again, nice job. Swaby still holding these walls quite well, making it very difficult for Galatia to break through. There we go. Galatia sending up some Galatian swords, ready to take on the spear wall, which is a solid spear unit. They get off a little throw there of Javies at the flank of the Egyptians. They're not too happy about it, but Galatia is trying to stop them from sending in those reinforcements. Swaby's definitely going to have to deal with this unit of Galatian swords. But Bactria is doing a good job of keeping Egypt out of the fight over on this side. And Pixelated is just victorious over on this flank. Well done there. But they are starting to waver a little bit against Ivacy near the arrow tower, and that might be where Pixelated sends in reinforcements. We'll see what he does here. He might be actually just calling a retreat. Look at this. I think he feels like he held his own there. Oh, nice little... Oh, they're gonna throw projectiles at each other. But yeah, it looks like Pixelated is kind of... They feel... Oh, excuse me. They feel very confident in this defense that, you know what, we did enough. We did enough to hold. Well, actually, cancel that. I think he is actually sending in... Okay, so he's not doing a full-on retreat. I mean, if he did, it wouldn't be that bad of an idea, because I think he's done so much damage. Like, eventually you get to the point where, you should hold the walls, but you shouldn't, like, if you can't, don't hold the walls forever. Just do it enough to where it's in your advantage. Once you start to feel like the attackers are starting to overwhelm you and you're losing more troops than killing, then fall back, go to the inner keep, and you made the attackers bleed for the walls, and that's what you want to do. But yeah, it looks like Pixelated is going to call a bit of a retreat. And what in tarnation is this? Pixelated sallying out a bunch of forces, but it looks like he's going to call them back in. I don't think he must have not liked what he saw over here. We have some heavy horse kind of waiting for them. But yeah, I think Pixelated was going for the throat there. They were going for the kill against Ivacy. But it just doesn't look like he must have just not liked that situation. Now he's pulling back, and we still have some Pixelated legionaries, the desert legionaries, holding against Egypt. But it's really just a matter of time until Pixelated starts to fall, and I think they're gonna probably fall back. Let's see. I don't know. He keeps sending in more reinforcements. We'll see what happens. Bactria is certainly falling back. You can see they've fallen back over here, holding this choke point. Egypt is pushing in. They still have some Bactrian troops holding off Galatia. Swaby is still holding like a boulder here. I mean, really, he hasn't lost any ground. Now, to be fair, this fight was the last of the 3 fights. Like, it took Galatia the longest to get to the walls, and that's probably why this fight is still very fresh. But Swaby has done an excellent job of holding back Galatia and making this very difficult for them. Even the general over here, the sword masters, are in this fight. So we kind of zoom out here, get a bigger picture of what's going on. Galatia has definitely taken some heavy losses. You can see they're quite low on troops. I mean, they still have a decent amount of infantry. Egypt still going strong. Egypt still very powerful. And really, the reason Egypt is still very strong is because, well, they kind of acted more like the support army of the attackers. You know, they sent in troops kind of in areas where their other allies are going full in. You know what I mean? So, like, Arverni was going full in. Egypt sent in a couple forces here and there, and same thing over on this side. You know, Galatia going full in, Egypt sending in support to try to help. Now, on the defending side, Bactria is kind of like the support player, sending in hoplites and units wherever they're needed on the battlefield. And I can imagine that Bactria, yep, sure enough, still have a very strong, powerful faction, faction. They still have a very strong army left, ready to defend the inner works of this settlement. But here we go. Finally, the attackers get a little bit of a victory here and start taking some territory away from the defenders. And they're causing a nice little flanking maneuver there that's going to cause these desert legionaries to crack. And they are most likely going to die or flee, which it looks like they're just all going to die. But yeah, Arverni pushes in. It's really going to be up to Egypt to win this one. Now, Pixelated is holding off some troops over here. Bactria is going to move in. Look at this. What is he doing? Moving into the Egyptian position. Thorax Sword's going to countercharge. I think we got a Thorax Swords versus Thorax Swords. Egypt should be able to flank around here a little bit and get behind these swords. Same thing over here. Like, Egypt has an opportunity of flanking around and hitting the Pixelated legionaries. Another charge of Thorax Swords versus Thorax Swords. But that opens up a little gap. Look at this. We've got these axemen. Let's see where they go. Are they going to keep pushing in? Uh-oh. Pixelated moving up their general. Moving up the general, looking for an opportunity to get some good cav charges. And he does land a pretty solid hit against the Egyptians. But they are taking heavy projectile fire, so he's going to retreat out of there as quick as possible. So really good maneuver there. Another, he's just pinballing around, trying to support his allies where he can with this general. And that's what the defenders are just doing. You know, they're trying to do as much damage as possible before they get to the last stand. If they can make the attackers use up most of their ammo, most of their elite troops before they get to the last stand, they're going to be looking pretty good. Swordmasters holding up against the Galatian legionaries. An absolute battle of elites over here. Very nasty fight. Now we've got some spear wall falling back. And, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they start falling back troops. Swaby definitely has weakened a little bit. He's committed a lot of forces into this this little choke point over here. And we have Pixelated, who is falling back with their general. You know, it's probably a smart thing to do there. It doesn't look good for the defenders in these areas. I don't think they're going to be able to hold much longer. So having your general out there would be kind of suicide. And you don't want to lose the leadership of that general too early on. Arverni still looking fairly strong considering the losses they took. And they got 3 units here. A lot of archers, and I think that's going to be a big key to this battle. Now, Bactria had some archers up here. Look at this. but he's actually falling them back. Maybe they used up all their ammo. I'm not too sure. Pixelated might be moving up the archers over here. Now, this would be a good position to hold because of this terrain right here. Just move the archers up here, fire down an infantry pushing in. That's going to be quite the kill zone. Let's see what happens. What I would do with these archers, I would keep them down until the infantry commits, then send them up. Because if you send them up too early, the attacking archers might be able to focus down your archers up here. Let's see what happens. The archers are moving very close. Very close. Oh, are they out of ammo? Oh my god, that is not good. Ivacy might be out of ammo already in this siege battle. That could be a major loss right there, just because of how important, you know, skirmishing capability is towards the end of the game. What do we have here? No, we've got these Gatulai tribesmen. I know it's like almost like mob that are going in and trying to hold back the Ivacy. Now let's see, the archers, if they, here they are. Here they are, guys. The tribesmen, oh, they're not archers, they're like Javi troops. They're not gonna be able to reach, are they? There's no way they can reach. Maybe they're out of ammo and he's trying to make the enemy think these are archers, maybe at like quick glance, because I thought they were. But no, I don't think Ivacy's going to go for that. And now he's pushing up infantry right through this gap. Gotta love the gap push. Chosen swordsman going for these tribesmen. Nice little volley there in the back of these guys. The tribesmen falling back. We got the general of Pixelated forming up. He's definitely take some losses, but he's going to go in and support his men like an absolute Chad. And maybe not. He's like, yeah, maybe not. Maybe I am limp-wristed. He's gonna fall back and go to the safety of the, which is smart. You don't want to get too crazy there. But yeah, Pixelated doing what they can with what they, oh god. Oh geez, look at this. Yeah, Pixelated doing what they can to try to slow down the Ivacy. Not looking too great. And then Galatia is moving up troops. And probably going to take on Swaby. What's left of Swaby. It's hard to tell. It's honestly hard to tell because this is the perspective of the attackers. And it's hard to tell how many are sitting back here in reserve. Bactria is doing a full-on retreat with his pikemen. And what the attackers... So when I see pikemen, what's the first thing? When you see... Okay, so when you see enemy pikemen, you're playing Total War Rome 2. What's the first thing you think? Usually what I think is that, okay, I need to get my archers up there and I need to shoot these pikemen. I need to shoot the pikemen down. Nice little cav charge between the general of Pixelated and we've got a citizen cav unit moving in. They might actually kill the general because of how weak he is. He's down to 11 men, but oh, there's a lot of projectile fire coming in as well. But yeah, if you have pikemen, I definitely think of skirmishers. So what the defenders need to do is try to get the attackers to exhaust all of their ammo, so when it does get to late game, they will not have any for the pikemen, which is going to put the pikemen in a very strong position. So the thorax swordsmen pushing up on the enemy's position. The Egyptians are pushing up with their spears. Now the thorough spears, and please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing this, thorough spears. They're a cool spear unit because they have a lot of ammo. They can actually throw a lot of javies at the enemy, and it does a lot of damage before they, so they're a very versatile unit, you know, sit back, throw some spears, then charge in. So yeah, very much worth the money, and you know, very capable unit. So oh, Swaby's actually, he's still fighting for these walls. He doesn't want to give it up. He's gonna fight to the bitter end. He's got some berserkers. Wow, okay. I'm actually kind of surprised that Swaby would throw in his berserkers. Now, don't get me wrong. The berserkers will do great. Look, they already have 178 kills. But you would have thought that the berserkers would have been a much better... Like, berserkers, they're not a frontline unit. They are a shock unit, a supporting unit. Because they're smaller units, and they go berserk. They're not reliable in terms of holding a front line, but they are reliable in terms of getting a lot of kills. So I'm kind of surprised that Swaby didn't hold back his berserkers, like, let's say, like, over here. And then once the enemy commits to these pikes, send in the berserkers on the flank. That would have done a lot of damage. So, again, really surprised to see the berserkers commit alone so far away from his allies. Here's the last berserker. Stand of the last berserker. Look at him. See if he can get one more kill. No, dead. The berserkers are gone. You know Galatia's got to be feeling pretty good about that. Now, there is a flanking opportunity here, it looks like. Yeah, so they can go through here. There's some arrow towers they have to get through, but they can definitely flank around, go through the beach here, the port, and then there's a wide open choke point. Get behind Bactria. But here we go. Egypt is now committing to the fight. The balance of power is pretty much even at this point of the battle. But it's, you know, it's going to be tough to try to get through these pikemen. Now, the pikemen are taking pretty big losses right now because, sure enough, the attackers did save their ammo. And, oh, these mercenary archers are nasty. They're one of the best archers in the game. They're definitely going to do a lot of damage to these pikemen who are trying to hold. So nice forming up here, Royal Peltis. And we got the Thorough Spears. I am pretty sure they exhausted all of their ammo. And now we have the Thorax Swordsman moving up as well. Let's see what happens next. This is going to be very difficult. I always love watching, like, the funnest thing about siege battles sometimes is trying to come up with ways with what you have left on defeating your opponent. You know what I mean? Like, this is what they have left. How can they use what they have left to defeat pikemen? How can they do it? Well, so far so good. The archers are doing a lot of damage, but now they're focusing fire on this other pike unit. That's smart. You know, they're trying to weaken both of them, but I think I would focus on one pike until they're completely exhausted or dead. But now, oh, look at this. Elite Persian archers returning fire. They're going to try to defend their pikemen the best they can. Try to silence the enemy archers. Definitely at a standstill here. Alright, now we've got mercenary Syrian archers getting into position. I wonder if they have... This is what makes Galatia so good. The fact that they can field mercenary Syrian archers, which is really impressive. Like, that's mercenary Syrian archers, again, up there with the mercenary Cretan archers. Very powerful, very strong. And here comes that cav, the heavy horse, but like I said, there's a lot of arrow towers they have to get through, and they have taken some heavy losses. And oh, the general's coming over too. We've got another cav unit, noble horse moving in. This could be a good opportunity to crush a healthy unit of thorax swordsmen. This actually might be pretty good for the Iverni. Let's see, what do we have over here? More thorax swordsmen. Wow, this is kind of surprising. Look at that. That they would push in. Well, the thorax swords are holding their own. Of course, the heavy horse were down to 23 when they charged in. The general, this is a little risky, but, you know, no risk, no reward. They're going to run right past the thorax swords. They've got easy access to the back of the Bactrian forces. We'll see how that plays out soon. Egypt's, again, this battle is going to rely heavily on Egypt right here because they have the healthier army, and it's all down to the two support armies in this battle, Egypt and Bactria. And if we look closer at the pikemen, they're now down 23 men and 69 giggity men. That, oh my god, Egypt has pikemen. Why did I not look closer? Egyptian pikemen moving in. This is going to be tough for Bactria. And this is the final push here, guys. This is the ultimate push. So, you know, they're falling back. They're a little afraid to commit. Misacely has some riders. So Misacely appears with some riders. We got the Bactrian General, which is a Bactrian Royal Guard, which isn't that a pike unit? No, it's a hoplite unit. They're kind of holding their position. Look at the dead that stands, that fell trying to fight them. And it looks like some archers are going to keep them busy over here, some Syrian archers. So unfortunately for Galatia, they're out of ammo with their Syrian archers. But, you know, Egyptian pikemen aren't as good as the thorax pikemen. At least I remember. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the case. But, you know, Egyptian pikemen have the numbers. And there's a big gap right here. I try to put some infantry through there. And here we go. Okay, so we got the general of Arverni going in, and the new the writers here of Pixelated, drawing a blank on their name, trying to hold off the general. And look at the general is going to go for a charge. He just power through the Pixelated cav, and they're going to push in the backs of these pikes, and that's going to leave this Bactrian pike unit completely open to a flanking attack. And here comes Arverni moving in with chosen swordsmen. This is a problem, guys, and it doesn't look like the defenders have much to defend it. And now, of course, they have the thorax swordsmen they had over here, Bactria had. They need to quickly get back over to this fight. Almost charging into some pikemen there. Good move to fall back. Look for a better opportunity. Kill this general. Barbarians often rely heavily on their chieftains. Kill the general, and that could cause a huge morale loss for the barbarian Arverni faction. That might cause them to break and flee from this battle. We'll see, though. Over this way, the Egyptians pushing hard with the thorough spears against a ragtag force of Royal Guard and... what else do we have? Royal Guard and archers, Eastern slingers. And over here, Bactria is doing a good job of just breaking anything that comes this way. They do have the support of the arrow tower, which is always helpful. We might have a general v general Galatian nobleman. I don't know if he should send them in, but I don't think he's going to be able to win this. This is a very healthy unit. Just losing one guy so far. These guys have been fighting for a while. This is going to be tough for Galatia to break through that. Bactria is still looking very strong in this. In Pixelated, using their cav the best they can to support their allies. A really good teamwork there. The balance of power is not looking good for the attackers, and it is looking like the defenders are going to be able to take this one. But there's still 10 minutes. There's still 10 minutes in the replay, so it's really still too early to say who's going to win this one. Oh, okay. Actually, the arrow tower was not captured. Look at this. So he's got the thorax swordsman trying to recapture this arrow tower. It's actually captured by Swaby. I didn't know that. Wow, surprising. But yeah, they're going to be able to take it back here, and that's going to help them out with this. There they go. Look at that. Pew, pew, pew. It's like machine gun fire. MG's up there. Ancient MG, these arrow towers. So maybe they could try to flank around with the thorax and get behind them, but it's a good move here by the Galatian nobleman. Get them out of there. Get them out of the fight. But here's the problem right here. This is the major problem. Egypt has pushed through. They now control the center with the help of their friends, Arverni. They could easily push for the town center, which I believe would be right here. No, this is the town center. I'm sorry. They now control the town center, guys. The attackers control the town center. So it's a race against the clock. Pixelated is sending their cav out to chase down the general of... oh, he's going for it. But they're going to be ready for it. Oh, but it's still a pretty good charge right there. Galatian nobleman, if you can take out the general of Galatia, that would be a huge victory right there. But is this the last unit of Galatia? Yeah, pretty much. So it's not that big of a deal if you kill their general. It's not like they have units that are going to break from the loss of morale. But still, getting them off the battlefield will be very helpful. And Bactria is winning this fight over here. And look at this. The Egyptian pikemen trying to help out, but they're actually going to fall back. And they're going to make their final stand right here. This is what they're going for. They're going to go for a capture victory. Let's see if they can pull it off. Bactria is going in. They face some resistance from the chosen swordsman. This Bactrian Royal Guard should be able to take care of them pretty soon. And then we have the Eastern Slingers taking on the pikemen of Egypt. Some of the troops getting deep in the lines of the pikemen. Getting past the pikes might be able to do some damage there against these Egyptian pikemen. Alright, nice little maneuver here by the thorax swords from Bactria. Let's see where they're going to head. Oh, they're going to chase down the Galatian general. This might be the end for the Galatian general. Balance of power is still in favor of the defenders. But remember, the defenders control the victory point. Nice little teamwork here. Very nice. Oh! And that's going to be the end of this general. Down to 46 men. They're going to break. They are surrounded. It's not looking good for Galatia as they are out of the battle. Arverni in Egypt, though, stand true, and they continue to hold this... this point here. It's actually been neutralized thanks to the Bactrian forces pushing in a little bit. Oh, I would send a unit around this way and keep these guys here. But here we go. This is insanely close, guys. This is gonna be insane. Crazy. Bactrian Royal Guard pushing up with the Thorax swords. Let's see if they just charge in. Oh, why? Okay, there you go. He's going for the flank. And once again, this arrow tower gets captured. Oh, wait. Swaby's one of the defenders. I'm sorry. You know, I forgot because Swaby, his army's gone, so. Yeah, Swaby is taking it. I am brain fart there. But Bactria is now committing their royal guard. This is their general. This is pretty important that they don't lose their general. Kind of surprised they sent in the general first. But if they can surround the Royal Peltis here, it's going to be pretty good. Now, Royal Peltis, very elite, very nasty. But I don't know, guys. This balance of power just doesn't look good for the attackers. They're really going to need a miracle here to try to pull this off. All right, the Thorax swords disappeared. They're now out of sight. Eventually, they're going to reappear and try to get around the Egyptians. If the Bactrian general dies, that could be game. That could be game. A nice little flanking maneuver with the Thorax swords, trying to get rid of these Egyptian pikemen who are just stabbing the backs of the Bactrian Royal Guard. Bactria over here. They're gonna, oh, look at that. They're just gonna run away. Let's see, come on. I know they've got some javies. There we go. But it doesn't really do any damage. And the Royal Peltis should win this battle. 118 against 111. Yeah, they should definitely win this battle against the Thorax swords. And I think he knows that. I think that's why he's falling back. Get to the arrow towers. Bactria is pushing through. They're breaking through the Egyptian spears. And Egypt's just doing whatever he can to try to hold here. It's all up to the Royal Peltis. And they take on the Thorax swords. But they are about to be surrounded, guys. The fight for the town center. Down to just a handful of troops. Arverni pushing in some chosen swordsmen. This is all they got. Bactrian general, I assume, is still alive. Nice little cav charge in the back here. Trying to take out Arverni. Arverni just will not give up, though. They got 25 men who are just unmovable. They will not break. Ooh, a little awkward pathfinding here with these Thorax swordsmen. Kind of, you know, I feel like they could have been attacking more, you know, than just this little area here of these Royal Peltis. They've got them surrounded. Very nice fight. All right, there we go. They defeat Arverni. It looks like Arverni just fought to the death. But look at this. The Thorax swords are starting to break the balance of power. There's like 20% chance of them winning, the attackers. But they're still putting up a valiant stand here. And Bactria needs... Oh, my God. Masacely is starting to break now. Their cav has had enough. And it's all down to pretty much 3 units. And they're going to go with one last charge. Nice little last-ditch effort before the unit breaks. Doing a little bit of damage there. What is Bactria doing? They're waiting way too long. Get the men into the fight. These Royal Peltis are brutal, and you don't want them fighting Thorax swords. You know, you don't want your Thorax swords fighting these guys alone. Because they will die, and they are losing decisively. Here we go. Nice little charge. This is for the game, guys, right here. Look at that. It's almost like a sneaky maneuver around these guys. There we go. They're surrounded, but Thorax swordsman, they're down to 39. And if this Thorax swordsman breaks, there's a good possibility that Egypt can win this one. Balance of power still greatly. Oh my God. Oh my God. If they break. Yes. There is a good possibility that Egypt can win this. What a close fight. It is now down to 1 versus 2 units. There's 85 Royal Guard against 69 Giggy Royal Peltis. And then we've got another Royal Guard with 14. Balance of power has shifted a little bit more in favor of the attackers. If they kill the general, it's really just a general battle here. And whoever loses their general first Oh, look at this guy over here. Oh, this poor, he's like, for Bactria, for Bactria. He is gone, and it's such a close battle. Unit is losing. Bactria is losing against these Royal Peltis, and it's not looking good. It is not looking good. Don't let this balance of power lie to you. This definitely is starting to look like the favor. It's going in favor of Egypt, and it's just slowly increasing. They're using their abilities. Battle rhythm. We got hoplite wall. What an absolute ending to this battle. Still in favor of Bactria, though. Who is gonna take it? Insane. Balance of power is almost even again now. Almost even. Oh, but look at this! Where did these lads come from? Elite Persian archers. What in the world? Coming out of the woodwork. They need... Oh, it might be too late, though. If this general breaks, I doubt this unit's going to fight for long. Oh, my God. The balance of power is now in favor of the attackers. And there's a little bit of a charge, but is it enough? No. It's not going to be enough. And the Bactrian forces are broken, and the attackers will take this battle by the skin of their teeth. Thanks to the Royal Peltis, who got 311 kills. Woo, let's end this replay and look at the results here. So what is this? The Stuff getting 1,700 kills. Not the most kills, but very close on his team. 311 kills with his general, the Royal Peltis. And that, honestly, this unit is the MVP of the battle, winning this for his troops. Glacia getting a lot of kills too. Look at that. And then here are the defenders. We got Swaby, 1,400. Masacely did an excellent job. They took down many enemy forces. And then also Bactria did great as well, getting the second most kills on his team. So what an absolute fight there, all the way to the end. I hope you guys enjoyed this battle as much as I did. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a dislike and let me know why, so I can try to improve. I'm constantly making my videos better. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on the battlefield.